So let's start right at the very first element. We're going to look at meeting client needs. So if you're joining us for a webcast, you'll find that we'll be conducting a poll, and that's where all of the participants in the webcast are going to get a chance to introduce themselves really, really quickly. And this is where e-learning is so much quicker than those incessant face-to-face courses. Sometimes the introductions can take the first hour, whereas here we simply run a poll. Everyone gets to see who's attending in the left-hand column, and very quickly you'll all be able to poll your choices. So for now, this is just simply the YouTube version. So reflect just to yourself, there's no evidence gathering here, the reasons why you're undertaking the course. Was it for personal interest? Was it perhaps to develop some extra skills for your job, or perhaps try for a different career? As a trainer and assessor, you can access the needs of your client simply by looking at the enrolment form. And this is now leading into our first question on our questionnaire. And that'll be on the enrolment form, where can a trainer discover the needs of a learner? So let's just quickly go down to the Evoke enrolment form for a moment. So I've just quickly brought that up here for you. Once you're on the enrolment form, you've probably enrolled online and can remember this yourself. There was a category here that I just call it the reasons field. It said, of the following categories, which best describes your main reason for undertaking this, meaning this course? And there was a drop-down box, and it had a whole host of different reasons. Okay, perhaps it was to get a job, develop your existing business, start your own business, try for a different career, perhaps for a promotion. Some people actually come because it's a requirement of their job. And this is, as a trainer and assessor, what you have to be a little bit mindful of. Remember, in the last YouTube clip we were talking about competency not just being skills and attitude, skills and knowledge, but primarily the person's attitude. So if they're being forced to attend training because of the job, you've really got to establish a sense of value for them individually, so they get on board with the attitude. I mean, attitude's mainly about completing all of the evidence and submitting it. It's a great attitude of the work skills in the workplace when you're looking at what you've been able to observe in their activities. But just be a little bit mindful of someone if they're here just simply because work sent them. The learners that are coming because they've paid out of their own back pocket for their own personal needs tend to have an excellent attitude. It's not to say that somebody whose work's paying for them, is going to have an issue, but it's just something to keep in the back of your mind and really try and establish a rapport with those learners, and be gauging pretty early on that they're complying and submitting their evidence, and use that positive reinforcement to keep them on board. Perhaps they want to build extra skills for their job. That usually goes hand in hand with why an employer has made it a requirement, because obviously that person's going to be developing skills. So look, you can see it all there. That's just there in the Dropbox. But the other need of a client, and a client being your learner, would actually occur further up here in the impairment field. So it's asking, do you identify as a person with a disability, impairment, or a long-term condition? So if they answered yes here, they actually have a choice of some of what's in VET recognised as, as being able to be supported with reasonable adjustments, and we'll talk about reasonable adjustments later on. So all of these fields are required for a VET misreporting, which is annual reporting if the training is government funded. So we just need to make sure all learners follow the fields that the VET industry requires. So yeah, you'll see then we've got to support learners' needs for their characteristics. You know, they may have an impairment there. So so you can see from the enrolment form there was your reasons field and your impairment fields as well. So now you're in a position to answer your first question there. So if you turn to your questionnaire, it's just simply selecting the reasons and impairment fields on your questionnaire.